This channel is supported by Truefire. Truefire is an online library
enough, you can get the truefire all access pass for as cheap as they ever do it, the $99 thing. So just jump and do that if you're looking for the best price you can get truefire all access for.
If there's one person out there that I think I have to sort of give it up to most of all, in terms of like my approach to Legato and all of this sort of stuff, and I'm sure this is kind of the same for many of you guys, it's Tom Quayle, a little known guy from up in Leeds, and well, around there anyway, Yorkshire-ish, isn't it? And I have met Tom actually, and he's very nice. He's been in the back of my Honda Jazz. It was filthy. The Jazz, not Tom. Anyway, so I wanted to do like a little bit of a video just breaking down a lick which I think you can probably play at more or less any kind of speed, but it kind of indicates, I think, some of these little bits and pieces that I've got from Tom Quayle and that really help, and some approaches to Legato. So the intro, I'm going to improvise and maybe do a little bit of this line in here. The backing track, as well as the tab, will go up on Patreon, which is, you know, the lowest tier is £2 a month. If you want my full transcriptions for a solo every month, then that's the £5 tier. I am going to, and please email me if this is going to be worth my time, I think try and get back into like the Jazz Standard a week thing. Hopefully that'll be useful for some of you guys, but I think I'm going to have to start maybe another tier for that, just because it's time consuming. But I don't know, let me know your thoughts. This is, I guess, one of the key things that I would first of all start out by saying is that for me, a big part of the Tom Quayle differentiation from Legato that was different to what I'd heard before, as I was sort of into stuff like Steve Vai and Joe Satriani and stuff like that, where it was more that the Legato was like a textural thing to some extent. And the difference really, I think, with the Tom Quayle approach was, so yeah, where the Legato was a bit of a textural type of a thing. Okay, it appears that we have a day when nothing is going to work. Oh, well, I'll do it without a metronome then. I was going to talk about how important the timing is. So instead of it being like a, you know, a thing where it's, you know, the spaffy kind of thing that I am certainly guilty of when it gets to the higher tempos. Instead, it was more about like a slightly more controlled approach. And for me, that the way that might start is, instead of thinking about it as a triplet, is getting away from that, and instead it being more of a trying to get to this more even kind of feel. So my tempo is at 1, 2, 3, 4. And the other thing, really, like the tone part of this, I would say, is that what Tom Legato Quayle kind of taught me essentially is that it actually was less important to have tons of gain, and that actually this should be something that you could execute sort of clean or without tons of drive. And so that's kind of like the first thing. Timing, like 16th notes, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's shocking, right? I haven't warmed up today. And trying to get away from like the just triplet without intent thing, or like super slidey stuff. So that is kind of part 1, right? Try and get sort of even. Is this going to work now? So like whatever you're doing, maybe you set a drum machine, and it doesn't have to be fast. This is kind of one of the other things, the legato that isn't necessarily the fastest, but is kind of clean and sort of like it is a not just an effect, but is a way of playing and expressing. Then the other thing I would say is like around sort of direction. So that could be like your starting point here, like 3 note per string. And be honest with yourself, like if I'm totally honest with you, and I'm sure some of you can hear this, like that's not the most precise playing. Like I'm trying to be more precise, and you could do this with like melodic minor stuff as well. And why not just miss out random notes like I just did? And you know, I'm too fast there. Okay, then one other thing that kind of technique-wise Tom Quayle has talked about, in terms of accuracy, like focusing it being like a specific tip part of your finger that you're aiming to hit. Like, so you're trying to attack with a regular part of your finger, or like a specific point, and in that way kind of determining that you've got slightly more accuracy. Then the next thing around directionality is like a line that can move in multiple ways without it necessarily ending. Like this. This kind of thing, right? So the line continues, as in, like there. sequentially shifting up and down essentially the major scales. So we start up here with all that we've kind of pointed out before there, where we're kind of trying to be slow and methodical. 7, 8, 10. So we're in E minor. 7, 8, 9. Then on the G string, 7, 9, 7, 9, 11, 9, 10, 9, 10, 12, 9, 10, 8, 10, 12, 14. We're getting an arpeggio there that comes along for the ride, right? Minor, C major, A minor, B diminished. Oh, right, okay. And then rising up like this, minor, 12, 14, 15, 14, 14, 17, 16, 14. Okay, then 17, 14, 16, 17, 14, 16, 17, 14, 15, up to 19, 17, 15, 19, 17, 15, 16, and then end on our E there. So you get and what I like about this kind of approach to like Tom's playing is that you've got it's not feeling closed off. It's like, okay, I get to here. It's like, I'm not at that level, but what I'm saying is like, it feels like you've got more opportunities to just continue the line because he has these ways that he's kind of conjured up of getting the line to continue. So if we were to kind of, he hybrid picks quite a lot as well, so up, and that means that his right hand can be a little bit more stationary. So take it slow to start with, and the aim really, again, is to just play it as in time as you can, which hopefully is more in time than me. 3, and slow is hard. Especially like those pull-offs at the top there, I'm rushing. So I need to spend more time in this kind of slower. think about going fast. Let the technique bed in. Ah. Not quite. 4. I'm finding it hard to actually concentrate because there's a bin man right outside. There, we got it. Okay, and that's kind of, that for me is a lick which kind of I can get under my fingers, that does for me get across some of those things that I've taken from Tom Quayle that I still need to like bear in mind and think about working on even more. So it's about time, it's about concentrating on, you know, slowing these things down such that you feel like you can hear when you're rushing, or whether your fingers aren't really in sync with what you're intending. It's about, you know, position and tone. Like, does it need to be as much gain as you're practicing with, or can you do this sort of thing with a bit more control and actually hear, right, okay, that note didn't really sound out the way I wanted to. And another element of tone is like, what part of your hand are you actually striking with, and thinking about those elements of legato in that way, and like a pull off being generated from like a tip of a finger, like a little bit of a pull down. Again, if you're using your right hand hybrid picking, like concentrate on, is that like ringing out more or is it louder, and your right hand being like not so responsible for time, like the left hand is responsible for time, the right hand is more like a paintbrush type approach here. And then, you know, concentrate on things being really slow. And one thing with Tom's technique is it's like elegant, it's clean, it's efficient. So work on trying to do that kind of thing. And these lines that, like this one here, that kind of transcend across the fretboard. Transcend, that's not really the word, is it? But you know what I mean. Go across the fretboard and continue. And you can put these together yourself, you know, starting with this kind of approach, I think. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll drop this up on Patreon soon. My cameras and everything's going haywire today, but hopefully I got through this okay. And yes, Patreon will be the place to get the tab, the backing track. I'll try and record an intro now.